Michelle McNamara's obsessive search for the man who terrorized California during the 1970s and 80s is chronicled in her book, I'll Be Gone in the Dark. The Golden State Killer has been wanted for over 40 years. Friend, before we go any further, I would like to humbly request you please subscribe to my channel, so I can reach 1,000 subscribers as soon as possible. Your support truly means the world to me. So please subscribe. Hello viewers. Today in this video, we uncover a chilling true crime story, Gone in the Dark, the 40-year hunt for the Golden State Killer. For over 4 decades, a shadow loomed over California, a sadistic predator who terrorized families, vanished without a trace, and left behind a trail of fear and unanswered questions, until one woman's obsession brought him into the light. So, without wasting another moment, let's begin the video. Also known as the original Night Stalker and the East Area Rapist. The unknown attacker started raping women in 1976 and began killing in 1978. At that time, the police didn't know that the same person was doing all these crimes, but soon, it became clear that the East Area Rapist and the original Night Stalker were the same person. The Golden State Killer first attacked in the Bay Area of Northern California before moving to the South. The name Golden State Killer was given by true crime writer Michelle McNamara. He committed 50 rapes and killed 12 people before stopping in 1986. After that, he still scared some of his past victims by calling them most famously in 2001. When he asked a woman, "Do you remember when we played in 2016?" the FBI shared more details about the crimes, including sketch pictures of the suspect and what the victims said. They also offered a $50,000 reward for any information that could help catch and convict him. On April 25, 2018, 72-year-old Joseph James D'Angelo was arrested for 2 murders and is now in jail without bail. D'Angelo used to be a police officer, but he was fired in 1979 for stealing a hammer and dog spray. DNA evidence shows that he is believed to be the Golden State Killer. Even though McNamara didn't live to see her book published, she sadly died in her sleep in 2016. Her husband, actor and comedian Patton Oswalt, played a big role in finishing what she started. HBO documentary films bought the rights to her book, I'll Be Gone in the Dark, and it's clear that McNamara's hard work and research helped bring attention back to the case. After Jane Carson was attacked in October, people in the community started talking about a serial rapist on the loose, but the sheriff's department asked local news not to report the crimes because they were afraid the suspect might leave the east side where they were trying to trap and catch him. Shelby, Daly, and other detectives quietly followed clues. They also talked to parole and probation officers. They looked into deliverymen, milkmen, janitors, and carpet installers. They left their business cards on doors in the neighborhood and followed up on tips, usually about young men who stared too much, stayed out late, or, as one person said, about his younger brother seemed strange. They put a blindfold on Jane and played recordings of 2 suspects' voices to see if she could recognize one. She lay on her bed, shaking. "Not him," she said. The detectives also checked pawn shops for stolen items and went to House of 8, an adult store on Del Paso Boulevard. To ask if any customers were interested in bondage, they looked into a tip about a man who was paying the DMV to get women's personal car information. Then following them in his car, they talked to him outside his house and noticed he was standing in the street gutter, too distracted to see the water running over his nice leather shoes. He wasn't the East Area Rapist, but because of this, they got the DMV to stop selling private information. The detectives also watched for signs like blushing, blinking, crossing arms, and repeating questions to buy time, but none of it led them to the East Area Rapist. Meanwhile, gossip in the community kept growing because the police weren't sharing any official information. People said the police were staying quiet about the rapes because the details were too awful to talk about. Some even claimed he was hurting women's breasts. These rumors weren't true, but since the press wasn't allowed to report on the case, no one corrected them. The fear reached a high point on October 18th, when the East Area Rapist attacked twice in just 24 hours. One of the victims was a 32-year-old housewife and mother of 2. She lived on Kipling Drive in Carmichael, a richer area on the east side. Some people believe that the East Area Rapist, upset about not getting media attention, started attacking in nicer neighborhoods to make sure people would notice. It worked. On November 3rd, about 500 people came to a town hall meeting about crime safety at Del Deo Elementary School. Shelby and Daly spoke at the meeting, trying their best to answer the scared and angry questions from the crowd about the East Area Rapist. The next morning, the Sacramento Bee published a story by police reporter Warren Holloway with the headline, "Manhunted, AS Suspect in 8 Rapes." The silence from the press was finally over. Maybe it was just a coincidence, but on the evening of November 10th, the same day the Bee published another story, East Area Rapist, fear gripped serene neighborhoods, a man wearing a leather hood climbed through the window of a house in Citrus Heights. Inside, a 16-year-old girl was watching TV, alone in the den. He came up behind her with a knife and gave a terrifying warning, "Make one move and you'll be silent forever, and I'll be gone in the dark." This time, the East Area Rapist took his victim outside the house. He led her down a slope to a cement drainage ditch that was about 20 feet wide and 10 feet deep. They walked about half a mile west to an old willow tree. Later, the girl walked that same path with Shelby and other detectives. Near the tree, they found cut shoelaces, torn Levi's jeans, and green underwear in a pile in the weeds. The girl said she had not been raped. Getting information from someone after a violent attack is difficult, especially when the person asking questions, like Shelby, is a tall, older man, and the victim is a teenage girl who is emotionally overwhelmed. You look them in the eyes and ask the difficult question. You might believe the answer, or you might not. Later, you ask again more gently, maybe while talking about something else. They give the same answer as before. That's all you can really do. The East Area Rapist might have thought she was someone else. "Don't you go to American River College?" he asked. When she said no, he pushed the knife against her throat and asked again. She said no again. The girl later told the detectives that she looked like one of her neighbors, who did go to American River College and nearby community college. But once again, the timing was strangely perfect. She was only going to be alone in the house for a short time. Her parents had gone to the hospital to visit her brother, and she had plans to go out with her boyfriend later that night. Before taking her to the drainage ditch, the East Area Rapist had carefully put the window screen back in place, turned off the TV, and shut off the house lights, like he knew someone might come home soon and didn't want anyone to notice something was wrong. The girl added more details to the growing list of things victims had seen in the dark through loose blindfolds. She remembered black square-toed shoes, a small flashlight that was so tiny it fit into his left hand, military-style pants. While she was tied up, she said he kept climbing up the west side of the ditch and looking at something. He went back and forth, acting nervous and jumpy. Shelby climbed up the embankment. Like always, they were just a little too late minutes or hours behind the attacker. You could stand right in his footprints, but without knowing why he chose that spot. You were just guessing, staring at the area, hoping for a clue. There was thick, tangled brush, fences, backyards, too many things to look at. Not enough answers. Back to square one, the girl said, the leather hood, the East Area Rapist. War went under his shirt and had slits for his eyes and mouth. To Shelby, it sounded like the kind of hood that arc welders wear under their helmets. He contacted welding supply companies to get lists of their customers, but nothing came from it. Meanwhile, the phones at the sheriff's department kept ringing as people called in with names of possible suspects. The detectives tried to look at everyone. They crossed people off the list if they had big feet, a sunken chest, a belly, a beard, a lazy left eye, a limp, special shoe supports, or even if a sister-in-law once said she went skinny dipping with her husband's younger brother and noticed he had a large penis. The East Area Rapist attacked another teenage girl in Fair Oaks on December 18th. In January, there were 2 more victims. The headline in the January 24th edition of the Sacramento Bee read, "Rapist Strikes Again. 14th time in 15 months." One sheriff's detective, who didn't give his name, showed how tired and frustrated everyone was when he said it was exactly the same as all the rest. Viewers, this was the terrifying story of the East Area Rapist, also known as the Golden State Killer, a case that haunted California for decades and left behind a trail of fear, pain, and unanswered questions. What do you think about this chilling story? Share your thoughts in the comment box below and let us know how you feel about this gruesome act. Thanks for watching. If you found this story gripping, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more chilling true crime stories. And remember, if you or anyone you know is battling dark thoughts, don't hesitate to reach out to a mental health professional. The weight of these stories, they can take a toll. So please, take care of yourself. Until next time, and I'll meet you in a new, interesting video.